Hello, viewers. Namaste, Sir. I'm so happy to see you again on 4Vedas channel. Last video on Chandra and Surya Lagna received a lot of likes and good comments. So you can say hello to the all Russian auditory.
All Russians, привет.
I agree.
Hello.
Today, I would like to ask you tell about the importance of being born on a specific day, on the specific weekday. Vara, or in some works, I find the name Dina, Vara.
Dina.
So
Yeah.
I will be appreciative about this.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much again, sir, to give me an opportunity in your channel. And all my Russian viewers, they are also very keen to listen what I'm going to say.
Great.
See, that's a very vast subject as astrology is. Whatever the daily things we are using, it is everything is counted in the shastra, that what to do, how to do, where to do. So out of which we consider the daily routine by our panchang. Panchang means for 5 part to learn today's outer environment. It is nothing but, it's not a book, it's things, because previously there was no write-up. So all the sages are seeing what is today's days, how the sunlight is there, and they differentiate every day, which is called in the Sanskrita Dina. Dina Vara. That is a real word of a Sanskrit which describe a day. So day is nothing but the division of a planetary strength on that particular day. As per the English days, we all know that the days are starting from either Monday or Sunday. So it starts actually in the Vedic science from Sunday. Is a beginner. As we know, the sun is in the center. That is why it comes as a day sun. So sun is a Sunday, and the Britishers keep the Sunday as a holiday. It's not a holiday for the matter of just enjoyment. They say because they are lack of a sunlight, and then aware that on Sunday there are 66% the earth is tilted, so you'll get more of a light. So go out and take the, because when you are in the office or home, you will not get that much sunlight. So they declare that as a holiday. This holiday is not related to the layoff, the hall where there is no work, but they say it's a very auspicious day to get, and that is why all the Christians pray on the Sunday. They go to church and pray. So that is the value of a Sunday. Sun, we all know sun is our own soul and light that we already discussed.
Yeah.
Then Monday, everybody, the WHO, World Health Organization also says the massive heart attack is more on Monday. That's always a pressure on Monday, because you have a 2 days or 1 day holiday, Saturday, Sunday, or Sunday holiday. So when you woke up in the Monday, there was a lot of heaviness in your mind. Oh, I have to start with my work. Oh, that's all this. And again, you enjoy on the Sunday. You have spent so much. So that's also again you have to start earning for upcoming Sunday. So that is a Monday is our mood. That is makes our mood. That is why on Monday normally we do what our inner mood says. That is why it is a Monday. It's a moon day or Monday.
Yeah.
Then see, these two planets are very important for Earth, because Earth get light from the sun and Earth get all the environment due to the moon, because moon is surrounding to the Earth. So it's a very good service provided to Earth. All the tidal effect, all the nature-based things is because of the moon. And in our body and in Earth, there are 71% of water or liquid is there. So that's a telepoint with the Earth and our human body. So that's a Monday. Thereafter, that's a Tuesday. Tuesday is a Mangal or Mars. In English, it is called as a Mars. Mars is for the action. See what happened? First, your soul have some voice. Do this. Then our mood connect with it. Okay, let me think. Let me do it. Then you need action. That is why Tuesday has come. Mars is nothing but the energy. So you need energy to start up anything. So you have decided, no, I'll do like this, I approach this. All the preparation, that's a Mars. That's the body get heated. And Mars, we all know it's a heating planet and very hot planet. Now NASA has gone to the Mars, sending this, and they confirm, yes, Mars is red. Our Rishi Munis are telling so many years where there was no even the binocular to search that. So that our knowledge. So you need energy. The Mars is nothing but the energy, your desire. When your voice comes inside, when your mind is allowing, now you need to have a desire or action. That is Mars. You've decided now to do anything. Now you have to think about it, how to do it, whom to communicate, whom to approach. That is Mercury. Mercury is nothing but our brain, buddhi. In the Sanskrit, it is called a buddhi, jnana. So that is our Mercury, that is our mind or application of mind. See, all people get an equal brain. Only differ from person to person is the application of mind. Everybody got the same weightage of 600 or 800 gram of mind, but the application differs. If you see the pattern of a mind, picture of a mind, everybody has that deep lane inside the brain. Yeah. That is the how your brain has opened. And Mercury is not only a brain, it is an application of brain, or it is called gray matter. What is gray matter? Gray matter is where your memory store. As you have a hard disk in the computer, the same it is a hard disk in our mind. So you got a voice, you're having a feelings also, you have an action also. Now I have to do. Now you have to think about it. And that think about it is nothing but your own memory, own thoughts. Mercury is basically for the communication, because when I speak, you listen, then it goes to your mind and you remember, okay, he liked to see this. This all the process is the Mercury. Now you see, if I call somebody by telephone, I'll dial the number which come from my memory, then that goes to the my nearby tower, then it is to the transformating tower, then the tower, suppose I am calling Russia, then it goes to the Russian tower, his local, and then his phone. So this all process is Mercury, a communication, a mode of a communication. Then you start communicating. Once you have started communication, now you need some growth. Means you have decided. So Jupiter. Now the Thursday comes. Thursday is the Jupiter. We call it as a Guruvar or Jupiter day. Jupiter day is a day where you find some growth, some positivity, or when you have decided you need some mentor in your work. You have decided, you have communicated, but you are not specialist on that. For that, you need some specialist. That is a Jupiter. So you call upon some help. Those who are already doing, you will say, I am going to start this. Do it suitable to me. How I have to proceed? What I have to do? So you have to take a blessing, or other way it is called as a blessing or help from mentor or guru. So that is a Jupiter is required. As a Jupiter, or you have decided, you have started the work by guiding of someone else, now the result will start coming, because Jupiter is the growth. So now you want to enjoy the fruits. What the fruits you have gained, you will need to enjoy. That enjoyment is a Friday. Worldwide, majorly all the picture release on the Friday. Why? Because Friday is the day of enjoyment. Your holiday is Saturday, Sunday, but you start enjoying from Friday. Friday evening onward, you start that now I have 2 days holiday, I'll enjoy, I go this way. So mentally you start.
Yeah.
So that enjoyment is a Friday. Yeah. So what I say that everybody in the life, they need enjoyment. So that enjoyment is a Friday. Everybody in the world, they feel something good on the Friday, or just to change the mood, because Venus, Shukravar is for the pleasure. So all kind of a pleasure people start planning or enjoying from Friday. Thereafter, after the enjoyment, again you have to start working on it, because you enjoyed. When fruit is being over, eaten, enjoyed, now you have to again start from scratch. That is a Saturday, that's a Saturn. Saturn again start with everything. Again, Saturday, you have to start from the scratch. Your efforts has to be done. So these are the process of the days. And that is why there are very much important in one life related to all the days. So it is very important on which day you start, which day is auspicious for you and from where you start. So in the text, it is mentioned that Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The 4 days are very auspicious. Any work you wish to do on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are always a good. What happens that they are the auspicious planet also, because in the auspicious planet we believe that Jupiter and Venus are auspicious, that is Thursday and Friday, and Moon and Mercury, that is our Monday and Wednesday. So these 4 days you are permitted to do any good deeds. If you do any good deeds on these days, this will be always lead to you a positive result. On the particular day, see, Sunday, Tuesday, and Saturday are not inauspicious day. Any days are good. So it's not inauspicious, but they are only designated to the work which you should be permitted. Like Sunday. Sunday is a day to charge oneself.
Yeah.
Normally, people discharge on that day. They keep rest and they don't enjoy. But this is a day you have to go out. You have to wake up in the morning and get the sunlight. And sunlight is so precious. It is good that it has not been charged as water is being charged. Now oxygen is also charged. There are so much ozone place where you go and consume the good oxygen. So now air is charged, water is charged. Still you have a sun free. Sunlight is a free. And from sunlight you get all vitamins. Vitamin A, B, C, D, E, any vitamin is there till Z, whatever the vitamins is there, it's all available in the sun. More or less, you need to charge your mobile because its battery got lost.
Yeah.
Same for our own charging, that is a Sunday. So Sunday is only allowed or permitted to listen to your inner voice and to start. Sun is for the beginning, as our life begins with our soul. When our soul came in the body, then body become a human being. Until and unless sun doesn't comes in the body is remain body. That is why when sun or the energy left, we call dead body, because now it has remained the dead cell. That's the body. So our body becomes a human being when sun or the solar or the energy comes in our life. So Sunday is a day where you can wake up and do everything good, which is good for your conscience. That is why they go to prayer. Then normally the Christian go to the prayer on the Sunday. There was a mass prayer on the Sunday because to give credit to our soul. Credit to our soul that our soul is lifting. We are getting a good energy in the soul. So Sunday is only permitted related to this. Mars, we believe in the astrology, Mars is highly materialistic planet. All the object, all the pleasure related to the materialistic things is a Mars. So Tuesday is only permitted to do any materialistic things. If you wish any materialistic things like land, property, any material object, that to be done on the Tuesday. So dealing of lands, completion of your pending work, whatever the pending work is there on the Tuesday, it's a charge. Mars, because of the Mars, it is being highly energized day. So you start on the Tuesday. That is why I say to complete the past deeds, to do a energetic work, this is a day where you can start. So all your pending things, if you are finding that, oh, this work is not yet completing, you start from the Tuesday. It will finish fast. And on Saturday, see, Saturday is a day of cleansing. As a Saturn always need a new thing, so it scrap the old thing. So whatever things you have as a scrap, unwanted, extra things, you should take collected it and just make it out. Normally you see the Americans on the Saturday they keep for the cleaning day, laundry day. That's a day they clean the house, they do this. So Saturday is a day where you let the energy. If you don't let the energy, how you will get on the next day Sunday a new energy? When you are keeping the old energy with you, how there is space to enter the new energy? So Saturday is a day of a cleansing. Now, this is all the importance of the day. I say that for mood, Monday, for action is a Tuesday, for a decision making. Suppose you are starting business, suppose you wish to keep your mind occupied, study, reading, It's a Wednesday, because there you need a mind. And if you are want to enjoy and growth in the life, that's a Thursday. Want to get a blessing from your mentor or a person, that's a Thursday. Venus, that's a Friday, is for the enjoyment, and Saturday is a cleansing day. See, clutter, we all know the clutter is obstructing our energies. So when we clean the clutter, see, on the days of prior to Christmas, prior to Hindus Diwali, all the festivals when comes, like in China also in the February, they have a new year. Before that 10 days, they clean their house. They clean, remove the all unwanted scrap and unwanted things from this. That's a Saturday. So Saturday is a day where you let the things, so that the Sunday they'll in the things, so that new energy comes. This is just a small introduction of our days important. Now it is also important the day you are born. It's not an accident. It's not an accident that you born on Tuesday, you born on the Thursday. There is two different things, day and date. Date, first of all, we talk about date. Date, that like today's date, we call it 19th August 2021. Now this date start at the midnight 12 o'clock. At the night, midnight 12 o'clock, it is called after meridian. 12 is called as a meridian. So after the meridian, that is why we use 12 a.m., 1 a.m. A.m. is not a early morning, it's a after meridian. So from there, 12 o'clock, when midnight 12 o'clock is there, the date change. Whereas day, when we speak about Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, day change on the sunrise. When there is a sunrise in the morning, 6:35, 4:30, whatever the place is there, as per the sunrise, day change. So whenever you are locating any day, day should be count from today's morning sunrise till the 24 hours next day sunrise happens. So prior to sunrise, it's the same day happens. So that is why in many calendars, date change at the night, they place the 2 day. Suppose today midnight, it will be from 19, it is 20. But the day remains Thursday only. So Thursday / Friday it has written. That day was Thursday, Friday is yet to come. It has not came. So day change from morning, from sunrise. So day's duration is sunrise to sunrise. So if you are going to apply any day in the daytime, it is a day, it's whole day. And night after 12 hours also the day remains same until the next day sunrise has not came. So that's a day. Now, whichever day you born, like you born in Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, that is also a planet. Sun, Moon, Mars. Now that planets become very important because on that day you come out and face the sunlight, face the environment of our Earth, because now you are taking breath from the air. Till that time you are taking everything from mother womb, the core. You are taking everything in the liquid form. Now you become a dry. Child cry because now from water he has to consume the air oxygen. So that's a time we consider as a birth time where he cries. So when he cries, he get all the air in his lungs and he start taking a breath. So that is a day. On the day he born, he has consumed the energy on that day. And that is why for whole life, this day is a very important. See, we normally celebrate a date. My birthday is this. I'm celebrating on this day. But we forget the day. The day is very important because that is a planet and that planet has some consideration in your chart. So whenever you are looking, suppose you're born on the Monday, so moon is a very prominent in your chart. If moon placement is good in your chart, it's in the own sign, exalted, or any way it is good in the chart placement, that means you'll be getting a good power on the day you born. Suppose you're born in the Mars, Tuesday. So Mars is not negative for you because that's the day you consume that energy. So those who born on the Tuesday, their Mars is very active in their chart. So if Mars is not so good, Mars is being suppressed, that means you are not got the energy on the day you born. So that relevancy of a day converted into the planet and see in your chart. Sometimes happens that person born on the Friday and his ascendant is also like Taurus or Libra. So his ascendant lord is also Venus, his day lord also Venus. So Venus becomes a very prominent for his body and his environment. As I mentioned, that day is nothing but an opportunity and an environment to go out and do your deeds. So that way, that day's planet is having a very important in your life. So you have to always locate the day where you born. That is any planet. If it is Saturn, Mars, Sun, any planet, that will be an always auspicious for you. So you should use that day very much. You should go on doing the good things about yourself for your personal matter. That planet becomes an extraordinary. Irrespective of the planet place in the chart, you have to use that day very correctly. I gave you the two group of the planets. One is a Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. They are the auspicious days. Sunday, Tuesday, and Saturday, not so auspicious day. So that's a clear division of a auspicious and inauspicious day. In your chart, if the moon is very powerful, so you have a Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. 4 days are good, and you should not supposed to use the other days. If you born in the Sunday or Tuesday or Saturday, you have these three planets because you will born in a one day only. So other threes are favorable and other four are not so favorable because you born on the group. That's a different group. Sun, Mars, and Saturn has a one group, and Moon. Because in the inauspicious planet, we also have a Rahu Ketu. It's good that the days are not there. Otherwise, you have to count 9 days. It's only 7 planet which is in the form. Rahu Ketu is not in form, not in shape. That is why they are not considered as a day under the day. So that calculation has been done that as the 7 planets are very important, the 7 days has given. It's not 8, it's not a 6. It's all the planetary motion in the transit. The same way it is given as a form of days. So that is why days are very important. Now it is important for any auspicious work as well as if you wish to do any remedy, either a chanting, either a making any donation, good deeds, that also should be done on that day where you born. So your day is not an accident. If you born on the Tuesday, you should pray, you should do good, do the donation or any auspicious things you wish to charge your that planet. If you charge that planet, you will get the energy from that planet. So that is why your day is also very important in the muhurta for new beginning also. Now Rahu and Ketu, it's good that it has not been converted into the planet because it doesn't have a mass. So they are not in the days. So days are only with the 7 planets. Whatever the 7 planets we see is the Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn. They are in the form. So they are allotted the days, whereas this has not been given any days. So this is the day where you can start your remedy. You can start new auspicious work the day you born. The day you born means that's a connectivity with you and the nature, you and the God, you and your planet. So on that day, the planet is very awaiting for you. See, you may also feel mentally also that some days your mood is so high, some day your mood is down. That is because of the planetary position and the day you born. The day you born will never be a negative for you because it's a day where you connected with the nature. The day you born, it's a connection with your God because you came alive. So God has blessed you. So that's a day where you are connected with the God, with the nature, and with the people surrounding to you in the home, in the place, in the family you born. So that day is not an accident. So that is why days are very important in our life, and to use maximum of the day when you born, that is the way by which you can charge your planet and you get the auspicious thing. While many people are fasting also. For fasting also, the Saturday is the best day because it's a day to throw the energy from it is a Saturday. So Saturday, many people fast. In India, there are 50-60% people population will fast on Saturday. Is a day where you can empty your stomach and allow the whole thing to digest and then only you eat the new things. So that way also it is very important, the Saturday. Or you can fast, you can donate anything on the day you born, so that it will charge your day, charge your planet. So for remedy, for wearing gemstone also, see, all the planet have its a day. So if you wish to wear a ruby, you can wear on the Sunday. If you wish to wear a pearl, you can wear on Monday. If you wish to wear a coral, you can wear on Tuesday. If you wish to wear emerald, you can wear on the Wednesday. If you wish to wear a yellow sapphire, you can wear on Thursday. For a diamond or a zircon or white sapphire, you can wear on the Friday. And on Saturday, you can wear, if it is suitable, you can wear blue sapphire. That's called Neelam. So day-wise also, you can utilize this as a day where you can start getting that planet energy by wearing it in the hand, so that that energy pass in your body and you gain it. As you mentioned, that day is nothing but the fire, Agni. So that's a activation, because the day where you came out, all energy has attracted you. You've been exposed into the nature. So that energy has entered in your life, and that is a positivity in your life. So by this way, we should consider a day is a very and auspicious, connecting to the planet, connecting to the energy, connecting to the remedial measure. The day become very auspicious. So see day as your charging point. If you see that the day is a charging point, so every days are auspicious. If you are staying 4 or 5 people at the home, 3 or 4 people, every days, everybody is born in the different date, then their 4 5 days are auspicious. Many people in India, so they let the non-veg also, they become vegan, they eat the vegetarian food on other day, but on the Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, they try to avoid the non-veg also. That's a belief. See, everything is belief, and when people are strong with their belief, they get this 100% result. So that's overall things that is required to understand what's the importance of a day. So if you have any question, then obviously we can solve the question or any query.
Thank you very much, Sir, for sharing so deep knowledge, a lot of information. Ruler of the day and his how he placed in the chart. How important this house become? Where the ruler of the day located?
The day you born, so that is giving you a charging. That the day you start your energy, and the planet place in that house is also where your energies are being transformed. So if suppose some person born on the Tuesday, so his Mars become very active, because the day he has started his energy entering his body. Now that Mars, when you see in the chart, it is placed in whatever house where your own personal energy lies there. So you're more focused on that house.
Yeah.
If you focus on that house, that will bring you a good result. So that better, that's a connectivity with your day to the planet, to the chart house. So that it's a direct connection. As that day you born, you got the energy from the universe. That energy you have deposited in that house. That planet has deposited in the 4th house, 5th house. So related to the result of that house, you are very much active. And if you utilize the energy of that house, it will be a fantastic result.
Great, thank you very much. Can you give one advice to astrologers how we should study Jyotish? The main thing, the one main thing, one secret.
See, one secret what astrologers are failing to start is they are just reading. Reading is not an astrology. When you have a chart, don't read the chart. How people reading the astrologer is doing? They say you have a Jupiter in 1st house, you have a Mercury in 3rd house. That is an reading, is not an interpretation. What an interpretation means, give the meaning. And that is why my first golden rule of interpretation is seen, unseen. Yeah. You always have to see astrologer, what they see the future, which is not being seen by others. So we are supposed to see in the chart the things which is not directly reflected. See, number, immediately it's a sign. Planet, immediately sign. That is not that. That also can be read by a layman. Those who know the language, he will also learn Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, 1, 2, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Then what is the difference between an astrologer and the layman? So first golden rule, don't read the chart, interpret the chart. When you interpreting, you are giving a logic, you are giving a understanding of things. When somebody speak me that your Rahu is in 4th house, so what? That's not going to cause me anything. While we are reading, it's only a just mere outlook. When we interpreting that this planet is placed here, this planet is a lord, this planet is aspect, this is an interpretation. So while adding a logic, you need to interpret, not merely reading. So don't read the chart. Many people say, I can read the chart. Okay, then read, don't interpret. When you being a good astrologer, a thing is that you should interpret. Interpretation need a logic. Logic need a inference, and inference need hypothesis. So that hypothesis, all the astrologers should be very strong. That is why to become a good astrologer, there is a condition, your Mercury and Jupiter should be strong. Reasoning mind is a Mercury. You must know the reasoning. That planet, when in this sign, that result has given. Again, this planet coming in this sign, so it will give it. That is the hypothesis we are putting with the logic, with the reasoning, and that happens. So that's a calculation part and knowledge part, both combines Mercury and Jupiter. So don't read the chart, try to interpret the chart. That's the advice I can give to the all astrologers.
Thank you very much. I hope see you again on 4Vedas channel. Dear viewers, if you know English or Hindi language well, you can visit a YouTube channel, DM Astrology, where Dr. Dharmesh Mehta uploaded more than 450 videos about different spheres of and aspects of astrology. If you want to get a consultation of Dr. Dharmesh Mehta, or you want to purchase any astrological courses, please visit dmastrology.com, where you can find different options of consultation and courses. Thank you for watching this video. See you soon. Bye. Thank you, Steve.
Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.